Coral bleaching. What is coral bleaching? So, corals are made of tiny organisms called polyps. They belong into the phylum Cnidaria, which also includes sea anemones and jellyfish. As you can see, they very similarly represent those two. They have one hole, which they take their food like zooplankton and small fish, and they have that same hole for spewing out waste. So these also have tentacles and that sting. So the way they build the skeleton of the coral is that the dead ancestors are then grown upon. So like the ancestors build and they start building a skeleton over time because the offspring grow upon the ancestors. This builds a skeleton which builds these magnificent structures around the world called coral reefs, right? So these coral don't actually get its main source of energy from all the food that it eats from its main hole. It actually gets its main source of energy from a symbiotic relationship with an algae called zooxanthellae. Now, this algae is also what gives the coral its colors. So if we see all these vibrant colors right here, that's because of zooxanthellae. So zooxanthellae gives these colors. That's the way the color of the algae. So, as you can see, if the zooxanthellae are not that efficient actually, if the temperature and acidity rises, they start to become not as efficient and they start to produce toxins, which makes the coral more stressed. Now, the pollution and the stress makes the coral stressed, so they decide to spew all the zooxanthellae out because they want to make sure they're less stressed, right? But this is a problem because they're losing their main source of energy. Therefore, they lose their color, and therefore they get bleached. And then when they lose their color, this is also very vulnerable. They lose their energy, and so it becomes a very susceptible to disease, and it's easy. You can die. Of course, it can still regain its possible nature if the zooxanthellae are able to regain the symbiotic relationship. But if the zooxanthellae are unable to regain the symbiotic relationship quickly, the coral is left to die, and it will starve to death and will probably die. That's very, 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 very bad because the coral reef is like the rainforest of the ocean. It is super biodiverse and is home to many species. If there's no coral reefs, all those species lose a home. We could lose many animals, maybe even lead to a mass extinction event. Also, furthermore, 500 million people depend on coral reefs every year for a source of economic stasis. That's the way they survive. 500 million people depend on coral reefs. Also, tourism of coral reefs brings in a total of $36 billion. It's a lot of money going to all those people that depend on coral reefs. So, coral reefs is a big business, and if we lose them, we could lose many things. Also, it's our Earth. We should help save it. So what can we do to help save it? So, how can you help? What can you do to help save coral reefs? So, let's see. So, the temperature has been rising, as you can see by this graph. It's been rising rapidly, quickly. So, we need to find a way to lower the temperature. That's a big deal. Because temperature, try to find a way we can somehow lower greenhouse gases. Furthermore, as we go back, we can see all these, on the right side, you see change in temperature, change in pollution. That's a big deal. Overuse of sunlight exposure, pollution. We need to stop runoff and pollution from all those factories and fertilizers. They're inefficient, they're bad for the environment and bad for the coral reefs. Artificial fertilizers. We need to stop using artificial fertilizers. They're not good for the environment. We need to stop using them. Also, we need to cut down on pollution too. Furthermore, global warming is a big thing. We need to start finding a way to become more green. Fossil fuels are inefficient. They are ruining the world. We need to find a way to use solar power. The technology is there. It's only a matter of time. So we need to find a way to incorporate everything. We can do it. We can figure it out. So what can you do personally to save corals? Well, it might not seem like you can do a lot, but you can actually do a lot. Try to see if you can See if you can start trying to change your stuff. Try to see if you can start using your daily habits can change. You can stop using fossil fuels. See if you can family can switch to solar panels. If you can't do that, try to see. You buy gas cars. Try to see if you can buy electric cars. It's better off for the environment. Hybrid. Try to reduce the amount of pollution in the air. We don't want these coral reefs, these beautiful places, to go extinct. These are great sources of revenue. They help. One thing to mention, they are very good natural barriers to storms and storm surges. Like if a hurricane were to hit Australia right now, this reef, the Great Barrier Reef, would help from the storm surge for being so hard. So these coral reefs are very important to this environment. So please help us save these coral reefs. Stop them from bleaching. We want these environments to be good. Thank you.